Welcome to the Vintage Athlete Podcast, specially designed for retired athletes. I'm your host, Tara Fortier. I'm a master's level licensed and board certified behavior analyst, yoga and meditation teacher, nutrition coach, and now mom of 2 athletes. But most importantly, I'm just like you, a retired athlete doing life after sport. Whether it's trying new things that you might be bad at, learning how to feed and exercise your post-sport body without kicking your own butt, or figuring out how to fill that giant hole in your life that used to be filled with practices, coaches, teammates, and the adrenaline rush of your sport, I'm going to drop some unconventional knowledge and strategies on you and do it from a place of love and acceptance. We'll tackle solutions from a unique perspective rooted in mindfulness and acceptance and commitment therapy. If you're a retired athlete looking to create a fulfilling and empowered life beyond your sport, this show is for you. This is the Vintage Athlete Podcast, your game plan for life after sports. So lace up for your next adventure and we'll transition, redefine, and evolve together. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Vintage Athlete Podcast. I'm so excited that you're here today and that you tuned in to listen. Today's episode is going to be a little bit of tough love. Just want to put some things out there and put them out there in a way that maybe is a little bit blunt, but I think it needs to be heard. And I needed to hear it back in the day, and nobody said it to me, so I'm saying it to you now. So today's episode is about not living every moment of your life as if you're trying to pursue a PR or a personal record, right? So as an athlete, were you always in pursuit of a PR or a personal record? And when you did hit a PR, did you feel that incredible sense of accomplishment? Athletes are often highly motivated to strive for personal records in sports. It means you are the best that you can possibly be right now. And even if there are other athletes better than you, beating your personal best is still a win. It feels good, right? And aiming for PRs in sports clearly has its benefits. It provides motivation to keep working hard, to refine your technique, to reach the next level, just to name a few. And as an athlete, that mindset of striving for a PR helped you accomplish your sport goals. So keeping this mindset in sports retirement should benefit you in your life after sports, right? Well, maybe not. And I want to spend this episode telling you why that's the case. So first, there are physical health risks that come with continuing to push your body to its limits in sports retirement. When the physical need to do so is no longer there. It might make you feel good in the moment to PR, even if you are no longer competing, but you are putting that continued wear and tear on your body that can have long-term consequences. Our bodies can't sustain that intensive training routine of our sports indefinitely. And you have a whole lot of life left in front of you. So spending it dealing with injuries from overexertion and overuse does not equal a fulfilling and comfortable life after sports. Another physical concern is delayed recovery. So as the body ages, as you get older, it takes longer to recover from intense physical activity. I've definitely experienced this and I have definitely not enjoyed it. As I've gotten older, I've had issues with back pain and back injuries that I received at work. And if you don't know this about me, I worked with children with autism spectrum disorder for a long time, and they often had challenging behaviors. And so this could be a very physical job. And even as the clinical supervisor of these programs, I often needed to be hands-on with the staff that I was supervising and the child that they were working with. So sustaining injuries in my workplace and having to go through the recovery of that injury, I noticed that it takes a lot longer. And as a former athlete, I am not good at being injured and I'm not good at sitting still. And so that was a real struggle for me because it took my body a lot longer to recover than it had back when I was younger. And so if you put yourself in these situations where you're risking injury because you're pushing too hard, you no longer need to do so, you may end up having a much longer recovery than you would have had in the past. So pushing yourself to that limit is going to have some negative consequences for your physical health. There's also some mental health struggles that can arise from this. So the pressure to constantly perform at high levels in everything all the time can cause significant stress and anxiety. This can lead to mental health issues such as burnout, depression, and therefore a decreased quality of life. So listen up. You can have a successful career, meaningful relationships, and a fulfilling life without being the best at everything all the time. That's my tough love statement to you. The more you try to live up to this unrealistic expectation, the more you're going to make choices and take actions that are probably not in your best interest and are actually going to move you away from what you want. That competitive mindset is a big part of being an athlete and part of an athlete identity. And athletes who tie their identity too closely to their performance may struggle with a loss of self-worth when they're unable to achieve new records. And retired athletes may struggle with this when they're not able to PR in all these new parts of their life after sports. And this can really lead to a crisis of identity and take its toll on a former athlete. In episode 3, it was all about athlete identity and how it can hold you back in sport retirement. And I highly recommend you give that a listen to learn more about this and why I think addressing athlete identity is the single most important and first step that a former athlete needs to take to live a fulfilling and meaningful life after sports. I also have some free resources that I will link in the notes to help you start to let go of this attachment and discover more about yourself and the life you want to lead. The first one is a meditation practice specifically focused on letting go of your athlete identity. The other is a free 3-day experience called the Vintage Athlete Awakening that will lead you through practices that help you find balance in your life after sports. They're both free, so go check them out, and I would love to know what you think. So another area of life that can be negatively impacted by going 110% all the time is your relationships and your social environment. The single-minded focus on achieving new records or goals can strain personal relationships. It can be difficult to be around somebody who is constantly focused on a future achievement or competing against someone or something, and that can't focus on the moment and the experience in front of them. The people in your life may not want to feel like they're always in a competition or constantly having to be your cheerleader from the sidelines. And spending virtually all of your time and energy on future achievement can detract from time spent with family and friends, leading to feelings of isolation and loneliness. It can also negatively impact the relationships you have with the people that are important to you. So if you're skipping out on invites and events with people that you care about, you may also be missing out on opportunities that can bring you joy and fulfillment and bring other important relationships into your life. So those are just some of the areas that could be negatively impacted by continuing to live your life in pursuit of PRs and going at 110% all the time. Now, you may be saying to yourself, why are you suggesting that I be a bump on a log and just let life pass me by? Well, first of all, we know that's probably not even possible for a former athlete. And after years of major time management, of a busy training schedule, and the rest of your life, you're probably not used to stopping and smelling the roses. But it's nice to do that sometimes. And it's nice to do that without needing to be the best or the fastest or the most accurate rose smeller that there ever was. So I'm not saying that former athletes shouldn't be focused and motivated to achieve in their life after sports. What I am saying is that operating at 110% all the time to beat your former self like you did as an athlete is not going to serve you well as a long-term mindset and strategy outside of sports. Sure, be motivated, have goals, and work toward them, but take the intensity down a few notches. And here's why: the pressure to constantly perform can be overwhelming, especially in retirement. Letting go of the need to always achieve a new PR can really alleviate stress and improve your mental health. So, if your default mode in sport retirement is the 110% everything needs to be a PR, how do you find balance of motivation and achievement in life after sports without burning yourself out? So, as always, on the Vintage Athlete podcast, I'm going to bring up some struggles, but I'm also going to give you some real strategies to help deal with some of these things that can negatively impact you. So, one of the first steps is to redefine what success means in life after sports. Success in sports is often measured by statistics, records, accolades, but life beyond sports offers a whole new spectrum of what success can look like and what that specifically means to you. So it's essential to redefine success in terms that resonate with your current lifestyle and your current aspirations. A fulfilling life is so much more than achieving a PR. And defining what is important to you or your values can lead to looking at success as more than a competition with yourself and with others. So, strategy one: spend some time establishing your values. Values based living is a common theme that you'll hear from me at the Vintage Athlete. And that's because it's the basis of so many of the strategies I use to help former athletes. I go into what values are and how they are so impactful in a lot of detail in my upcoming course, Identity Renewal. And so that should be coming out soon. So if you really want to dig deep into values and what that really means, stay tuned for that. However, when I was planning this episode, it occurred to me that a tool to assess and determine your values that was specifically designed for retired athletes would be so helpful to this community. So, after this episode goes out into the world, I'm going to design a tool for you and give you free access. It will be a values assessment, but it will be designed specifically for former and retired athletes. So, if you're listening to this shortly after this episode's published, keep an eye on my Instagram and my website, and it will be out there soon. If you're listening to this later, I will go back and put a link to it in the notes for this episode. So, again, step one: get clear on your values. Figure out what it is that you want to stand for in life, because that is going to help guide your actions and help you make decisions that are in your best interest and are in service of your values. So the second thing that's important to do to find some peace and some calm in your sports retirement is to acknowledge the importance of balance. Now that you're retired, it's important to recognize that what was required as an athlete is no longer required now. You can still be motivated, challenged, and successful without the all or nothing level of physical and mental training that you needed as an athlete. And it's vital to acknowledge that your life now doesn't require you to be perfect all the time. So ask yourself this simple but very important question: what do I need for my life right now? Start with that answer and go from there. So I will give you my answer to that question and why it has become so important for me to examine that for myself. So for my life right now, I need time. I need time to be present for my kids when they need me. I need to be financially comfortable enough for my family to maintain our current lifestyle and to save for college for our kids who are 14 and 16 now. So it's right around the corner. And I need time to grow the vintage athlete. So here's where I needed to acknowledge and change how I was doing things in order to get those things that I needed. As a behavior analyst who's been in the field of autism for a very long time, over the last 5 to 7 years, I had this mindset that I needed to have a fancy job title and be in charge of many people and many services. I needed to hit that PR in my career. That was my mindset. And I did that. I was the clinical director in a few different companies. And it turns out that I don't enjoy it at all. But the 110% part of me said that I had to because I had been in the field a long time and I'm an expert. And it only makes sense that I have a high ranking job in the chain of command. But when I stepped back and asked myself if that's what I needed in my life right now, a clinical director job wasn't it. So I moved away from that. I moved away from that objective and I found a position in the field of autism that allows me to have much more freedom with my time and allows me to be financially comfortable. And it doesn't come with a fancy title, uh, but I don't care. I've gotten to the point where that is not important to me and it's not what I need in my life right now. So now I can bring my kids to their practices and check in with them on car rides. I can spend time on the vintage athlete, which is my passion project and what I actually really want to do as my career. I can teach and practice yoga at a studio that I love and also be a student in class when I want to. If I had continued to be stuck in achieving more and more PRs in my career, uh, that brought me no joy. I wouldn't be here talking to you right now, doing what is meaningful to me. So it was really important for me to ask myself that question and answer it, and then make adjustments to my life so that I'm doing what I need now, not what I needed to do 10 years ago. So ask yourself that question and then know that you can be healthy, strong, and physically fit without working your body to peak performance level that leaves you in pain and with injuries. You can be successful in your career and receive recognition without working 80-hour weeks and competing with your coworkers instead of collaborating with them. You can go on a run with a friend on a beautiful day without having to average a 5-minute mile. You can allow yourself to feel emotions that may negatively impact your physical abilities that day because that's okay. And if that's what you need to do for your life right now, then give yourself permission to do that. The third strategy that I want to give you today is to practice and live present moment awareness. So, learning how to be present in the moment, in the now, accepting who you are and how you are right here, right now, helps keep you from getting stuck in all the thoughts and rules about what you have to do in the future and all the negative thoughts that you may have about not doing it. So learn and practice how to stop and smell the roses. Notice their beauty and their fragrance. This practice, otherwise known as mindfulness, has been shown in studies to improve many aspects of life, such as decreasing stress and anxiety, pain management, and improving focus, just to name a few. And I think the benefits of mindfulness are even more profound for former athletes. So if you want to know more about mindfulness and how it can have a positive impact on your life, you can read the blog post that I wrote about it, which I'll also link in the notes. And I go into why it's such an important practice and how it can help you with these very specific needs that former athletes have. The last strategy I want to give you is to listen to your body. As an athlete, your achievements were rooted in your physical skills. And maintaining physical fitness and physical health is important, especially to a former athlete. But it doesn't require the same intensity as your athletic training. Staying active through more moderate and reasonable exercise, like walking or swimming or yoga or hiking or any of these other beautiful forms of movement, can keep you healthy without the risk of burnout or injury. The goal is to really enjoy movement and to keep your body in good shape rather than to strive for peak performance. Like I said before, you've got a whole lot of life ahead of you. And if your body is beat up and burnt out and you are constantly dealing with injuries and long-term issues, it's going to be that much harder to live a fulfilling and meaningful life. As a retired athlete, it's crucial that you listen to your body and respect its limits. Aging naturally brings changes, and adjusting your physical activities to match your current capabilities and your current physical state is essential. It's not an easy pill to swallow, but it's so important to adjust what you're doing because your life is different now. And this approach is going to help prevent injuries and really help you promote long-term well-being for yourself. So it is critical that you adapt your fitness routine to a more self-aware and self-compassionate approach. So if you want a step-by-step guide on how to do this, I also have a free resource for that to share with you. The Vintage Athlete Fitness Guide will take you through the process of figuring out how you can maintain your fitness without kicking your own ass. Because let's be real, a lot of us did that, right? We thought, oh, I've got to maintain all of these, physical achievements. And really, you're going to pay the price by trying to do that. And so it's really important that you figure out a way to adjust. So I will also put that guide in the notes so that you can access that as well. So to recap, the strategies that you can use to move away from that need to make everything a PR include: one, redefining success in your life after sports and what that means, acknowledging the importance of that balance, practicing and living present moment awareness, and listening to your body. So I hope you heard something today that resonated with you, and I hope that you can take action on it if you're stuck in that everything needs to be a PR mentality. And remember, you can still be motivated to achieve great things without losing sight of all the other amazing things in your life. You worked so hard to be your best at your sport. And now it's okay to see and do things differently because life no longer requires you to go 110% all of the time. So give yourself a break. Be kind to yourself. Be present with what is around you. Figure out what you want to stand for in life and then take actions to get it. And chances are those actions don't need to burn you out. So thank you so much for listening today. I am so excited that you continue to go on this journey with me. And if you would take a moment to subscribe or follow and leave a comment for this podcast, I would truly appreciate it. And if you want to just get to know me a little bit better, please feel free to follow me on Instagram. It's vintage.athlete. And you can always check out my website at vintageathlete.org for any new things that are coming your way. So keep an eye out for that values assessment. I'm excited to create it for you. And until then, keep evolving. You have officially crossed the finish line of this episode of the Vintage Athlete Podcast. Congrats. I hope you're feeling empowered to live your best life after sports. And remember, you are not alone in this journey. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback not only helps improve this podcast, but also helps other retired athletes find our community. Stay connected with me on Instagram at vintage.athlete for daily tips, inspiring stories, and to share your own experiences. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for being a part of the Vintage Athlete team. Together, let's continue to find balance, build fitness, and redefine success in this exciting new chapter. I'm Tara Fortier, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time. Until then, keep evolving and keep creating your legacy beyond the game. Take care, and see you next time on the Vintage Athlete Podcast.